happy 40th anniversary to the Clue movie. Released, well, 40 years ago today on Friday, December 13th. Yeah, this had a Friday the 13th release. I think that's probably the biggest explanation of why it underperformed. Making $14 million against a $15 million budget. I had no idea this movie made that less until like the early 2000s when I got on the numbers.com. And this is the film that introduced me to Tim Curry. I have no memory of seeing any film with him in it until I saw this film. This also just pretty much introduced me to everybody who's in this film except for Christopher Lloyd, because I did see Back to the Future before this movie. Well, I didn't know about this film's existence until the late 80s. I just caught it on HBO at the ending for Ending C, at the part where Wadsworth said to Colonel Mustard, "You took the key to the weapons cabinet out of my pocket." That's where I first saw this. And then when it came back on again, it came on again, I finally watched the movie. Well, my brother said that he rented the living daylights at us when we lived in our hometown, but I have no memory of ever seeing him watching this. And yet, he said he rented it so much that Dad finally put his foot down and said, "You're not renting that again." They did this. That happened with me with Little Shop of Horrors. I would not stop renting that. I just kept renting and finally they said, "No more. You can pick something else this time." Okay. But as for the board game that this movie's based on, would you believe me if I told you I had no idea this was based on a board game? Because I have no memory of ever seeing that board game until like 1990. I thought the board game was based on the movie. It must have been that cliche as every time I was like gonna see it, something always blocked my head, or something, or when I was coming towards it, something distracted me and it caused me to turn away. But I never knew about the board game at all. Oh God. Well, Clue is a mystery film, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is not a well thought out movie. It is great, but there's some stuff in it that does not make any sense. The movie opens up with Tim Curry playing the butler, heading to this mansion on a dark and stormy night. He meets the maid, the cook, and he also gets greeted by two German shepherds. And he steps on their poop, and the running gag is every time he gets near someone, they sniff the air and check their shoes to see if they stepped in it. Well, that only happens with three characters: Yvette, Mrs. White, and Colonel Mustard. They're told to be go by aliases because that's definitely not their names. And they're all here to meet Mr. Body. First, Mrs. White shows up, then Colonel Mustard, then Miss Scarlet, Mr. Green, and then finally, did I say Miss Scarlet? Let me do that again. Mrs. White, Colonel Mustard, Mrs. Peacock, Mr. Green, Miss Scarlet, and Professor Plum. Those two come together. Well, the sixth guest is not showed up yet. Mr. Body. They go to the dinner table after they getting to meet each other in the library. Of course, we find out that Yvette and Miss White know each other. The first clue. And while they're having dinner, they finally know that all of them come from Washington, D.C., except for Professor Plum. He has a government job. But then Mr. Body shows up. But he basically is revealed that his letter didn't say the same thing. Mrs. Peacock demands to know why they came here. Of course, she does reveal that at dinner they're eating their favorite recipe, which is supposed to be clue number 2. Good luck trying to figure that out. Okay, well, what it means, that is. They go to the study. Mr. Body tries to leave, and Wadsworth tells them all the doors are locked, all the windows have bars. He tries going out through the conservatory, but there's a Doberman Pinscher out there that won't let him out. Then they find out that they're all here because they're all being blackmailed. All of them have dirty little secrets, and Mr. Body's the one blackmailing them. Wadsworth just wants them to tell the truth, and their troubles will be over with, despite the fact that they could also be going to prison for what they're being blackmailed with, especially Mrs. White. Miss White, I'm going to be saying Miss or Mrs. all throughout all this, so just get used to it. Okay, Mr. Body goes to get his briefcase, which contains deadly weapons. The weapons from the board game: the pipe, the gun, the revolver, the knife, the candlestick, the rope, and the wrench. Well, he basically believes it's a better idea for one of them to kill Wadsworth. He turns off the lights, The gun goes off. Mrs. Peacock turns it back on. She drops her knife, and then it shows Mr. Body lying on the floor. This is one heck of a bullet. Where Professor Plum is positioned where he has the revolver, if he would have shot at him and grazed his ear, because when they roll him over, you can see the blood on the ear. But how the heck did it get over there? Because it's like the bullet went and got where it's supposed to be. Yeah, this makes no sense. Unless Mr. Body to walk forward, turn sideways, and graze ear, he then walked back and then finally passed out. That's like the only thing that could have happened. Well, they hear Yvette screaming, they go check on her, but one of them isn't there. Pay attention. That one is already waiting for them in the study when they come back. It's Mrs. Peacock. And Wadsworth finally tells them the whole issue with him and everything, but they still have a mystery to solve and figure out who killed Mr. Body. They believe in Professor Plum. Goes, maybe it's one of us. The cook's the only person. They go checking her. She comes falling dead out of the freezer. Mr. Green catches her. I didn't do it. But when you pay attention, Wadsworth is not there when they first arrive. But whenever Colonel Mustard approaches him, Mrs. Peacock and Professor Plum have vanished. But they do reappear when Colonel Mustard says, "Who had the dagger? Anyway, it was you, Mrs. Peacock." But if you pay attention, Yvette's never with them. She doesn't rejoin them until they bring the body to the study when they discover that Mr. Body is gone. That's when they find him dead in the toilet. Miss Peacock dies. Mrs. Peacock, she's married. Okay. And then if you pay attention to the candlestick, you see that little stake poke at that went clobbers Wadsworth on the head. I'm not shouting. All right, I am. I'm shouting. Boom. Okay. Then they start searching the house, but of course a motorist shows up. Now Wadsworth locks all the other weapons in the cabinet, puts the key in his pocket, but when he's about to throw it away, that's when the motorist shows up. It's the guy from Jaws, the deputy, and the dentist from Halloween 2. The original Halloween 2. He tells him his car broke down, but when you see his car, it looks like it's parked on a lump. I was like, I hit a lump. My car, I can't get up. Can I get a tow truck? They let him be in the lounge, but they lock him in. But then Wadsworth throws the key, and they split up by taking groups with drawing straws, which are just matches cut up. They go search around, but then we see the murderer getting all the photographic evidence. One of them is a picture of Colonel Mustard and the guy who's locked up in the lounge, and then he throws him in the fire. It's Colonel Mustard! It's obviously him! He opens up the cabinet, gets the wrench, goes through a secret passage from the conservatory to the lounge, hits the motorist upside the head. Whenever Colonel Mustard and Miss Scarlet find the body after he cleverly pretends that he falls through the secret passage, they can't see the dead body though until he shines a flashlight on it. And well, they start screaming. Yvette gets the gun, shoots 3 times. 1 bullet hits the chandelier, 2 bullets hit the lock. They come in, the chandelier falls, barely misses Colonel Mustard. Well, a cop shows up. He was out there inspecting the motorist's vehicle. I'm like, dude, don't you think you could have heard those 3 shots? Yes, it's a dark and stormy night, but I think he could have heard all 3 of them. Yet he never does. They let him in, but he says to Yvette, "Don't I know you?" A clue. They lock him in the library, and then the phone rings. He answers, it's Jacker Hoover. And Wadsworth takes it, and it goes in there. Mr. Green shows him around. They cleverly disguise the dead bodies that they're still alive, and the cop is unaware of what's going on. He goes back in there, only get locked in again. They search the house, but then someone turns off the lights. So 3 murders happen. First, Yvette going down the stairs while Miss White is upstairs screaming in the room that she's searching. And then she goes into the billiard room and gets strangled to death by someone. It's Mrs. White, who magically teleported down there to do that. Yeah, I'll go into that later. But yeah. Then the cop gets hit in the head with a lead pipe. The doorbell rings. It's a singing telegram. Funniest joke in the movie, because I remember laughing so hard when I first saw this. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I am your singing telegram. Bang! That woman went on to voice Baby Oopsie Daisy Demonic Toys 2. that's what I read on Wikipedia. I'll probably have to double check, but I believe it is. It did say it's her. And then they start going crazy trying to figure out where they're at, slamming their heads, running into something. Wadsworth goes into the shower, turns it on his pants. A Jack in the Box scares Mrs. White. Miss White. Wadsworth turns the power on, but my, now they're so used to it, they don't have any reactions when they see the two bodies. Well, Mr. Green has a reaction when he sees the cop. When they see Yvette, it's like they don't care. I think even Carl Mustard was like that. They're like, whatever. They see the singing telegram when they realize it was a gunshot. They notice that Wadsworth knows the gun's missing, so then he tells him, I know who did it. He goes over everything, every detail, points out the clues, and then we get the one of 3 multiple endings. The first is the one with Miss Yvette and Miss Scarlet working together, going by the rule that Yvette killed Mr. Body and the cook, and Miss Scarlet killed the rest. Then there's the ending B, where it's revealed that it's Miss Peacock who killed everybody. And then ending C, which is my favorite, even though this doesn't make much sense in so many areas. Okay, Mrs. Peacock killing the cook, it makes perfect sense. Professor Plum, okay, when it comes to that issue with the kitchen, that's when this is supposed to happen. Yvette and Professor Plum, Mr. Body, and Miss Peacock are all they're first. The Professor Plum and Miss Peacock are there first. Wadsworth and Yvette are missing. Then Wadsworth shows up, and then Miss Peacock and Professor Plum show up, but Yvette is never there. It was obviously Yvette who did that because she doesn't rejoin them till then, but this goes by the rule that it's Professor Plum, where he fired in the dark but missed, so he pretended that Mr. Body was still alive, dead, so he could kill him later. They point out that he was the one missing. There was 4 missing people in the kitchen for a while. Well, 2 showed up and disappeared. When 1 reappeared, the 2 others disappeared, and then 1 was never there. Oh boy. And then we find out that Colonel Mustard was the one that killed the one in the lounge. It was obviously him. Even I don't buy that issue with the other stuff, especially when you see the flashback, which is footage of this added because, okay, this is where I first caught the movie. When we decided to split, when we saw the motion at the door, he takes the key out of his pocket. That's new footage, you can easily tell, because I don't even think that Colonel Mustard had an opportunity to take that key from him. I mean, he doesn't he and Wadsworth never knows. Well, he obviously did. Just elected not to do anything about it. Okay. When he goes to kill the motion, you look at his face when he comes out of the secret passage, he looks mad as heck at that guy because he ratted him out. Because it turns out all the people that are dying are actually spies from Mr. Body. They gave them information about everybody. And when it comes to Mrs. Peacock killing the cook, it's because she used to be her cook. And when it comes to that, her saying this is my favorite recipe, that's because the cook cooked it for her, and he said, a monkey's brain is not often found in Washington, D.C. How are we supposed to know what hours she was eating? Or, yeah, I get what they did that, but this is one of those clues that to me can only be found within the movie, with the characters within the movie. Is I don't know what the heck they're eating. To me, it looked like, well, chicken and dumplings. Okay, then we find out that Mrs. White hurried downstairs, turned off the electricity, and strangled Yvette. How the heck did she... Okay, the flashback shows her hurrying down the stairs, but when we see Yvette going down, Miss White is up in the room, screaming, while Yvette's going down the stairs. So she has teleportation abilities, because that's the only explanation of how she killed Yvette. And when it comes to the cop, it revealed that Miss Scarlet killed him because she was bribing him because she was running a bordello, and Yvette used to work for her, and she had to bribe him once a week to carry on with business. Professor Plum had an affair with the singing telegram. That's how he lost his license, because the psychiatrists are not supposed to do that. Excuse me. Miss Peacock was taking bribes, or at least her senator was, but she was the middleman. Colonel Mustard stole radio parts. He was also visiting a brothel, and yeah, that guy ratted him out. And Mrs. White, she murdered all her husbands, and Yvette had an affair with one of them. That's why she killed him. And when Mrs. White goes on about how much she hated Yvette, Wadsworth just interrupts her to shut her up. When there's no one left except Mr. Green, he does something that he says throughout the movie, but I didn't do it. But he realizes the gun's missing, so whoever has the gun shot the girl. Inning A, Miss Scarlet has it. Inning B, Miss Peacock has it. But in inning C, it's Wadsworth. I shot her. You? And of course, we find out that he's really Mr. Body, and the guy that was posing as him was actually his butler. And so, in other words, that's why his lawyer didn't say the same thing. I'm guessing he was trying to get rid of Mr. Body so he could take over his blackmailing operation and finally like be free of him and now be rich himself. That's what I'm guessing. But Mr. Green also has a revolver, and he gets him. And that's when they find out that Mr. Green in this ending C is really a plant. I'm guessing the real Mr. Green couldn't take the blackmail anymore and just came to the FBI and confessed everything, so they sent him in to get all the information. Boy, he let a number of people die. That's doing your job, right, buddy? And then the chief, who is this guy at first is evangelist or anything like something like that. As a joke, we find he's the chief. He's in all three endings. The inning A is my favorite introduction. Where's the chief? He comes in. For the record, her glasses have lightning bolts on each side. Well, when the chief comes in for inning C, he goes, "Who done it?" And they all like accusing each other. Mr. Green like, "They all did it." But if you want to know what killed Mr. Body, it was me in the hall with the revolver. And then it ends with him saying he's going to go home and sleep with his wife. Clue's an awesome movie, but yeah, it's got its problems with plot holes and all that stuff. And going by what ending you watch it makes some of the clues not add up. Like if Yvette's the one who killed the cook, then there's no point of Mrs. Peacock being missing in the billiard room when they find Yvette. That just makes that whole issue with him. And Wadsworth / Mr. Body bringing it up, pointless. This is kind of why I like ending C the best, even though I will admit it also leaves you asking questions as well. But if you go by the actual clues in the movie, then Mrs. Peacock killed the cook, Yvette killed Mr. Body, Miss Scarlet killed everybody else. That's probably the one that makes the most sense, that one I just said, but some of y'all may not agree with me, but okay, I don't mind. But it's still Clue's an awesome movie, even with those questions. And even though some of y'all might criticize me for saying it leads you to ask a question, but they like it. No, it's just ridiculous comedy. You're supposed to just go with it. Yeah, I can see that. I do too. But yeah, it's one of the best movies of 1985. It's not my favorite film. Pee-wee's Big Adventure has that, but it's on my top 10. And well, after this, I will get back to my Christmas traditions, but I just wanted to make this video to celebrate Clue's 40th anniversary. So all you who made it, 2 thumbs way up for making that film, even though it does leave you asking questions. Well, happy 40th anniversary, and now here's my top 10 favorite films of 1985.